been with this ministry before, but it's been a few years. He was in a different role then. But yeah, I thought it'd be great for Tom to kind of tell a little bit about his story, a little bit of how he ended up where he is. Tell us about Graceworks. I think one of the best things that you can do while you're in transition and you've got a little bit of extra time is you can spend that time giving back and volunteering. So he'll talk a little bit about that. Just a great way to both give back, but also kind of keep your skill sets up, maybe learn some new skills while you're in transition. So with that, Tom, the floor is yours. Thank you so much for being here.
Whoa.
Yeah,
here. There it is. All right.
I'll give you that one.
All right. Is that okay? All right. So thank you. My name is Tom Starling, and it is good to be here. I was sharing with somebody last time how I started off as kind of a chaplain at a children's hospital in Fort Worth, and then I started working with college students for about 10 years. And then I worked with senior adults over at McKendree Village. I was an administrator in Hermitage. And then I worked for the Alzheimer's Association. So my parents just normally thought, well, he's going to be a mortician next because they just kind of kept getting older and older. But now I'm with Graceworks, and Graceworks is super. They're kind of a staple in the Williamson County area. I live in Murfreesboro now, but my wife and I met here in Williamson County, in Franklin, actually. And back then, we knew that churches were coming together to try to, I guess, almost outsource their benevolence to some degree. They realized that some of the same people were going place to place to place, and that everybody was good at, giving a fish, but not teaching that person to actually fish. And so Graceworks was formed in like a little closet, somewhere, and it has really grown. In fact, it now is about a $12 million organization, and they pride themselves on donating, giving food, clothes, shelter, and supports to our neighbors. So anybody who needs help is a neighbor. And the one thing that I really love about them is it really is neighbor serving neighbor. And that may say that in the impact report somewhere. There we go. Because we have 11,000 volunteers. We have about 350 volunteers that come every week. So we can depend on them to come for that half Tuesday or that Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or whatever that is. But we have 350 regular volunteers. And then we have lots of folks who come in and they say, hey, I want my family to learn about volunteering. I want my company. We'll do a little team building, volunteering for a half day. Then we're going to go do some strategic planning. And there really are a lot of opportunities to volunteer. But the thing that I really like is being able to really see neighbors helping neighbors. And many times during our times of transition too, with things being so high, Williamson County rent, utilities during the colder months, hotter months as well. And then you have the price of eggs and the price of food. And a lot of people are very pantry adverse, I guess. They're just a little nervous of what a food pantry is. You have a food bank like Second Harvest, probably our biggest partner, that helps to rescue the food. And they even grow some food and can it, but we end up with the food. And in fact, in Williamson County, they let us go and rescue it. So if something's about to hit its sell-by date, or the fruit and vegetables just, they're looking fine, but it's time to flip them out for the new fresh batch that just came in, we'll get some of those things. In fact, Trader Joe's even gives us flowers. So when you come in to shop at Graceworks, it's really like coming into a little store to where you can go around, you can get your meat, cheese, bread, meat, cereal, whatever you want. There's little signs on the products that if you're labeled as a small family or a medium family or a large family, you get X amount. So you know that you can get up to 6 bags of rice or 4 cans of beets. I'd hope you would not eat 4 cans of beets, but But we have them. We have things that are, culturally appropriate and things people like, and fresh produce. And like I said, we even have the flowers, which I think are great. And we have a lot of storage, a lot of warehouse storage in the back. We used to be able during COVID to go through that about every 3 days, the entire warehouse. And now it's up to about maybe 2 weeks, something like that, maybe just a little bit more. So you'll see things, stacked up. And again, the volunteers can, stock the shelves, throw out the old, in with the new. But it's just really exciting to see, people coming to get help. And I'll be honest, when I first got there, I thought, well, this is going to be kind of the working poor, maybe people who are trying to work 2 jobs and can't make ends meet. They really just need food. And it's victims of domestic violence who have nothing but the clothes on their back and their kids. It's people who overnight were succumbed to an online scam and just lost everything. It's youth aging out of the foster care system and they need a bed and a chest of drawers. It's people in a career transition. And what we've noticed is people, you can get up to 16 points of service, and most people just have 3. It's just like, look, we'll help you turn the corner. We'll pray for you. We never ask anybody, hey, are you a Methodist, or are you a Christian, or are you illegal, or anything. We just say, if you have a need, we want to help you meet that need. That's how simple and easy it is. We do ask that people get online and make an appointment, and it kind of prepares you for things you're going to be asked, especially if you need rent or mortgage help or utility help. We really want to make sure that you come with what you need. But if you're hungry, we will just have an emergency food box ready for you to take home, and you can come back with your appointment later. When you make an appointment and come in specifically for food, we typically give people a cart of food. In fact, my big push as the development director is start with a cart. And when I talk to donors, I'm like, that's $44. That provides an average family 12 to 14 meals. No, that's wrong. Meals for 12 to 14 days. So you think of that. So it's about $450 worth of groceries that, because we can rescue it and secure it and get it donated, it ends up costing us about $44. And again, to feed an average family for 12 to 14 days. And you can come in and do your own shopping. So or you could just say, hey, I'll be in the parking lot at 3:15 and we'll put it together and bring it out to your car, type of thing. We understand people are oftentimes in a hurry, or they just don't want to come in. But if anyone needs help, that's what we're there for. And I think the great thing about Graceworks too, we're not like white knights saving the world, coming in and saying, well, we're here to help you way down here. We're really just saying, hey, Jesus would want people to have food and be able to sustain themselves during difficult times, and we're here to do that. So food is definitely our biggest program. That's where the bulk of the money goes. That's what the bulk of the warehouse is that we work in. And it's open 9 to 4 on weekdays. And it's great just to come for a tour if you want a tour. The other thing that we have are clothes. And so we do have a thrift shop, and the thrift shop actually provides $1.7 million a year for us. So it really covers, in fact, that really covers all of our overhead administrative costs. So I can tell people legitimately, when you give to Graceworks, 100% of your gift goes to programs, because we have our overhead, our fundraising costs, the light bulbs, our accountant, all the administrative stuff is taken care of because of our thrift store. And being Williamson County, we get a lot of really cool stuff. So the other day we had somebody bring in a painting that was worth $3,000, and we're not going to sell it for $3,000, but for those bigger items, we'll put them online, so you can actually thrift online. But you can come in and shop, and the prices are great, and it's a great thrift store. It's in fact open on Saturdays, and it's half price every second Saturday. And you get an employee discount. And we're always hiring part-time or full-time. It seems like we have jobs listed on our website. But the great thing too about the clothes is if somebody comes in and they're about to have an interview, or I mentioned, a foster child or a victim of domestic violence, when you have nothing, we'll give you a $25 voucher. And that's typically enough to get about 6 items of clothing, like shoes, a couple of pair of pants, some shirts. Most things are going to cost $3, $5, and $10 just for the bare essentials. So you can get out of there with 2 outfits, full outfits, shoes and everything, with that $25 voucher. But then, of course, we have a boutique area, and they're a little bit higher price, but still a very good deal. And then we even have a furniture area in our thrift store. Again, people just needing fans, heaters, a bed, a chest of drawers. We even have a little antique area. We have a couple of ladies who have worked in antique shops, and they really have an eye for some things. And so we get a lot of people who come there, and they end up kind of just flipping some things on eBay and making money. Short term or long term, they'll do that. But again, for people who don't have anything, we'll help take care of that. And then we have a couple of programs that I think are just kind of unique. One has to do with food, and it's called our fuel packs. And what we do is we work with the Williamson County Schools, Franklin School District as well. And for those kiddos who are on free and reduced lunch, we'll make sure to very stealthily work with the teachers to where they could put food into their backpacks for weekends and holidays, which is really important. So, and that's where we actually need a lot of volunteers is to help put our fuel packs together, and then we make sure those are delivered, and the teachers again deliver everything in a very dignified manner. And then we have this one program, I didn't name it, but it's called Our Little Angels. And for new moms, we will provide a car seat, bottles, wipes, towels, towelettes, baby diapers. We will make sure that they go home to a place where they can help their child. We do have baby food as well. We don't have pet food yet. We need to talk to Mars about getting some pet food. Yeah. That'd be a great partnership. That would be. Ah, that's great. But yeah, so and then we say shelter, food, clothing, shelter, but in Williamson County, there is no shelter. There's no halfway house, transition house, no shelters at all. So we often have to work with Rutherford and Davidson County when it comes to that. But we also put people up in hotels. We'll help pay their utilities, not necessarily like an iPhone or your cable or anything, but for things like gas and electric and some things like that, we'll definitely do it. All you really have to do is show up and say, hey, here's proof that I don't have a job, or here's proof of our current household income, which is substantially low. And on that, I think that we can give you money up to 3 times a year, but no more than $500 for utilities. And we don't give you that money. We usually work with Atmos Energy or Middle Tennessee Electric or the gas company, and they help to kind of offset all of that. So it's taken care of. Same thing with rent. We'll give money to the landlord, or if it's your mortgage, we'll help with that, because again, on a dime, people in Williamson County will find themselves bankrupt or out on the streets. And like I said, there was one man who was very philanthropic, and the next day, because of an online scam, he had nothing. He needed a hotel room. He was waiting for somebody who owed him $9,000 to come through. It was just a tough place for him, and he was able to. We were able to kind of bridge him over, which is great. But again, just a resource that people don't think about. It's like when I worked with mental health. People say, "Well, I'm addicted, or I need help, but I don't want to be with those people." And it's really funny because several Rolling Hills Hospital and a couple of folks have developed these professional tracks for mental health and addiction, so that you can go and there's exercise equipment, a fax machine, and computers, and you can get work done, and it's the professional track. But what you find out about 2 weeks into the program is that those people, you learn more from them about recovery and addiction than anyone else. Like it's really amazing. But similarly, I would just encourage you or your family members or your Sunday school classes or people to please take advantage of resources that are right there waiting to be taken advantage of. I mean, we want to serve people who need help, and so it's a very strange thing to realize. I need help. My spouse is going to go insane unless we kind of make ends meet. Sort of. But more than that, it just means a lot to Graceworks. I mean, that's why we were founded by churches to serve the local community, and everything is local, Williamson County, except for food. We actually served 1.3 million meals last year, and that was to neighbors in 20 surrounding counties. So the food, you have to come get it. We do have a mobile food pantry out in Fairview sometimes, but we're ready. You just have to make that appointment online, and it's so easy. And I do want to encourage you to volunteer. I know I talked about volunteerism, but we could not do anything we do without our volunteers and without help. And sometimes to just teach family members, especially our youngest, always remember going out to the soccer fields, and my wife and I, with our daughter, would be on the sidelines, and our son it'd be like really this amoeba of children, around the field. And that was great for him. It was maybe a little cold. And when my daughter, it was basketball, again, we're all sitting there. But to do something as a family, whether it's Graceworks or Angel Trees or Salvation Army, or, it's great when the whole family can participate and when you can demonstrate to others the need to focus on others. I think that's a great lesson we need to learn. In fact, I will say another local church contacted us and said, our big mega church, we just need to know what poor looks like. And I'm kind of grabbing my pearls or whatever. No, don't say that. Because many times it is that person right next to us in the pew whose son or daughter is on the free or reduced lunch, or it's the people across the street or in our neighborhoods. The people we work with. You could go to HR and say, can we do a canned food drive here? And we could start with people here who really need it at our company. So I would just really encourage you, to think of who you could come and maybe volunteer with too. But it's a great resource. It's funny when I mention Graceworks, people say, "Well, I didn't know you did food," or I didn't know you did, the clothing or the thrift store or something like that. And one of the things Jay and I had kind of mentioned was our relocation. We are looking to build somewhere in Williamson County. Right now we're paying market value, for rent, and that could be a burden. We actually like our landlord a lot. We work. There's a lot of synergy between us, but we would love ultimately to have 6 acres where we could build. But then we're open to maybe having half of that where we can build, and then we might lease or rent in the other areas, or move the thrift store down to Brentwood, or have a second one open, somewhere. Someone mentioned Nolansville, so yeah, there's all sorts of opportunities for Graceworks, and I only started around the holidays, and it's been a lot of start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. But I'm finding my groove. I'm learning a lot. I think that these statistics are just amazing. But I just really encourage you to, get online and look at other, opportunities similar to Graceworks. And of course, you can contact me, Tom. I don't think I brought any business cards, but I think I'm the only Tom on staff. So used to be a popular name, but not anymore. But what questions might you have about Graceworks or our mission, or maybe questions that if I can't answer?
How did you get connected to Graceworks? How did you where you are today?
So funny, I've had 3 jobs this way. I applied, I interviewed, and I didn't get the job. And then through some reorganization, they were like, that number 2 guy could fit right here. And so I had been working the last 3 years remotely, and I was just chained to my screen. And I was working Eastern time to Pacific times. And it was killing me because I have to have a mission. I have to have something that kind of feeds my soul. I think it's the vestiges of that chaplain in me that I just haven't been able to break. And so I had found my calling, my ministry, a lot in nonprofits, because I really see them as, they're the ones feeding the hungry, clothing the naked, serving the poor. And I actually have to think of a new analogy, because that's what we really do at Graceworks. So, but that's how I've always viewed myself. So I would look at the Center for Nonprofit Management. Nationally, there's a charitable job boards that needed fundraisers, or somebody to do advocacy, or maybe even just virtual operations of some sort. And I found a recruiter who was hiring for 2 positions in Nashville, and the rest were out of state. So one happened to be Graceworks, and the other one was a prison reentry center, which was also kind of intriguing. But yeah, and since I've been to Graceworks, I've noticed that they don't really look at normal job boards. They just post their jobs on their own website, and they always need part-time and full-time help. Being a nonprofit, there's not the pay is not always the best, but I will say they have really great benefits. Their health insurance is the best I've ever had. So, we'll work on 403Bs and pay a little bit later. But it's also something that my wife, when I come home, just says, I can really tell a difference in you. So I think we can all kind of relate to that when we're fed at work and we're really connecting with, IT, or, whatever our forte is, whatever we were kind of made to do. But yeah, so I actually found them through a national recruiter's website. I do encourage, there's the Center for Nonprofit Management, and they're just so good. And they always have about 20 to 30 jobs listed, and it's for finance, IT, marketing, executive directors. And even if you don't do something like that, I would really encourage you to look at joining a board of directors. We're always looking for good board members. And it's just, we're looking for diverse leaders who could talk to us about marketing, law, business, giving, connections. And it's funny. I think if I had it to do over again, God took me the long way, but I would go to college and major in nonprofit leadership. And I just think, even then, if I if I was terrible at math and being an engineer made me take calculus 3, maybe I could become the executive director of the Engineering Association of America and not have to know math. I just know about fundraising advocacy and events and helping professionals. So if you have a helping heart, I would really encourage you to look at a board of directors for a trade association that you have a real affinity for. Yeah. What other questions?
Questions? Folks on
Oh, yeah.
Zoom?
Guess I'll ask one more.
Yeah.
I mean, guess what are ways that folks can volunteer and get involved with Graceworks?
So we actually have a volunteer coordinator who's great. It's very hard actually to call and say, I'm going to volunteer this month. I mean, sometimes we have some spots, but usually you have to kind of plan ahead. But the things that I tell people, even as a development director, because I've never had anyone tell me no. I've been very fortunate, but that's because I say, okay, maybe you can't give money right now, but can you like us or friend us or have a canned food drive in your neighborhood or at your business, or come and volunteer on site, or link your Kroger card, or link.
We just lost audio.
Thank you very much. So yeah, I'm just destroying all the technology today. So I'm starting and finishing with that. But you know, linking your Amazon and Kroger cards to your favorite charity really makes a big difference. I'm constantly irritated in the best way possible when I see these big companies sending us checks for $2 to $4. And I'm like, what is going on here? You know, and I finally have been talking to people, and they're like, oh, that's you know, a program we have, and it's just a few dollars, and then the other few dollars are a match that we have. And I'm like, well, it all accumulates, and I tell people that all the time. But sometimes I feel like, okay, if I'm writing, you know, putting a 69-cent stamp on this letter, and they only gave me a couple of dollars, maybe I should just pick up the phone, you know, give them a phone call of thanks. But there's so many little things that you can. In fact, we had leftover wine from an event, so I've been asking people. I'm like, you want to host a wine and cheese and invite your friends and introduce them to Graceworks? And so maybe that'll be in the near. We'll see. Yeah. Hmm. Right. Yeah, I was talking to the manager of Walmart at Cool Springs. They said on average, the average employee goes 40 miles each way just to come to work at a Walmart in this county. And you think we cannot sustain that type of infrastructure, you know, if we're so overpriced. And you're right on the tagging, you know, like I said, everything's kind of $3, $5, or $10. So it's not right, you know, you don't have to worry about how you're going to price things. And it is a good team builder. Thank you for sharing that.
Got a question on or a comment.
Mhm.
One of our participants
Oh.
all have. But the person's not received a receipt or has not heard any.
Oh,
And so any suggestions on what she can do to,
no. So our HR manager, her name is Amanda, and you could call maybe at nighttime and leave a voicemail and just say, "Hi, this is my name. I'm an applicant. I hope you received this, and if I need to resend it, please let me know." But I think sometimes putting a little bug in Amanda's ear and just saying, "This message is for Amanda, the HR manager." Um, and I always like leaving voicemails because then you don't have to worry about being transferred or, eventually you're going to get voicemail anyway. So why not just start with that? But they are good at sending our voicemail messages through to us the same day. So that may be one opportunity. Yeah. Super. Well, come use us and abuse us and tell your friends. And again, canned food drives or clothing drives, cleaning out your closet. Oh, and shameless plug, we have an annual dinner, an annual 5K, an annual golf scramble. And then in December, we have kind of a Toys for Tots. It's kind of we call it the Manger, which is fantastic. Yeah, Sister Church down the street hosts it. So again, even volunteers for special events, they're sometimes more fun. And so thank you for considering that too.
You all have like a collection center for the thrift store or?
So typically, so if you have something big, like I think now it's like 10 boxes, like Graceworks boxes of food, which hold about 120 cans each. We'll send our truck out. And if you have furniture that you're doing, and we're not big on office furniture, but if you have home furniture that you're wanting to get rid of, we'll also send our truck out. So you could just call us and say, hey, send the truck team out to our neighborhood or after our garage sale or what have you, and we'll be there. But typically we have people who it's almost like a McDonald's drive-through. So you just kind of drive up 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. and drop off the donated items and leave. And this is, I think, very special to me anyway. Inevitably we'll get broken. I mean, people don't always give us new items. But Play It Again Sports will come and buy items from us that they fix up. Or if it's something like clothing that is just not great, it's just not great, we will put that in this truck and it goes off to American Thrift Stores, ATS. And ATS will repair it and sell it. I mean, they have thrift stores across the state, and everything they sell goes to Make-A-Wish Foundation. And in Tennessee, Graceworks is behind. We're number 2 accounting for the money that goes to Make-A-Wish Foundation in the state of Tennessee because of the donations that we get that somebody can use, but we send it to American Thrift Stores because it's ripped or it's needs more mending than you would think. So I love that nothing goes to waste. We do tell people no plush toys, no mattresses, no used car seats, all for really safety reasons. But pretty much everything else, we'll take. And even if we're not supposed to take weightlifting, we'll still take it and just give it to Play It Again Sports. Great. Yeah. Thank y'all. Oh. All right. They better have clap too. No.
oh, you didn't do it either. But fidgety is, I think.